The veil between our world and the unknown is thin, easily pierced by things that go bump in the night. Tonight we delve into the chilling encounters with the black-eyed beings, entities that defy explanation. They lurk in the shadows, at the edge of our vision, watching, waiting. Their presence is unsettling, their intentions unclear. Are they interdimensional travelers, demonic entities, or something else entirely? Join me if you dare as we explore the unsettling tales of those who have come face to face with the black-eyed beings. Imagine, if you will, a desolate highway stretching out before you, the only sound the low hum of your engine. The sky hangs heavy with the threat of a storm, casting an eerie glow on the deserted roadside diner you pull up to. You're tired, hungry, a little on edge, but you push open the door and step inside. The air inside is thick with the smell of stale coffee and something else you can't quite place. Something unsettling. A lone figure sits hunched over a cup at the counter. He's dressed in a dark suit, a fedora pulled low over his face, obscuring his features. You try to shake off the feeling of unease that's creeping up your spine. It's just a tired traveler, you tell yourself, nothing to be worried about. You approach the counter and take a seat a few stools down, trying to ignore the way the man's presence seems to fill the room, the way the air crackles with a strange energy. The bell above the door jingles as a young waitress emerges from the back, her smile strained as she makes her way towards you. You order your food, your eyes drawn again and again to the man at the counter. He hasn't moved, hasn't touched his coffee. It's then that you realize something is terribly wrong. He slowly turns his head towards you, and in that moment the world tilts on its axis. There are no eyes, only gaping black voids where they should be. Voids that seem to suck the light from the room. A cold dread grips your heart, a primal fear that claws its way up your throat, choking off any sound you might make. You want to scream, to run, but your body refuses to obey. You're frozen, paralyzed by the sheer terror that emanates from the figure before you. He speaks, his voice a low, guttural growl that seems to vibrate deep within your bones. He tells you things, terrible things, things that make your blood run cold. He speaks of darkness and despair, of a world on the brink of destruction. The words wash over you, a torrent of madness and fear, and you feel your sanity start to slip. Then, as suddenly as it began, it stops. The figure turns back to his coffee, his form seeming to shrink in on itself, as if the very act of speaking has drained him. You take a shuddering breath, the feeling of oppression lifting slightly. You glance at the waitress, but she seems oblivious, her back to you as she wipes down the counter, her movements mechanical, detached. You stumble to your feet, your legs shaky, your mind reeling. You throw some money on the counter and flee, not daring to look back. You run into the night, the storm finally breaking, rain lashing down around you, but you don't stop, can't stop until you reach the relative safety of your car. Even then, even as you drive away, the image of those black eyes, those empty sockets, burns itself into your mind, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the veil of our reality. Picture this. A young mother, Sarah, is home alone with her newborn baby. Her husband is away on a business trip, leaving her to the quiet solitude of their suburban home. It's the dead of night. The only sound, the gentle ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway and the soft breaths of her sleeping child. Sarah is downstairs, warming a bottle in the dimly lit kitchen, her mind a jumble of anxieties and new parent worries. A sudden chill runs down her spine and she shivers, pulling her robe tighter around her. She glances at the window above the sink, half expecting to see a pair of eyes peering in, but there's nothing there. Just the reflection of her own tired face and the darkened backyard beyond. She chalks it up to nerves and fatigue, but the feeling of unease persists. Back in the living room, she settles into the rocking chair by the fireplace, the warm glow of the embers casting dancing shadows on the walls. As she feeds her baby, her gaze drifts towards the French doors that lead out to the patio. The curtains are drawn, but she could have sworn she saw a flicker of movement outside, a shadow shifting just beyond the edge of the light. Her heart pounds in her chest and she strains to listen. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside, amplified in the silence. She tells herself it's just the wind, just her imagination playing tricks on her. But deep down, a primal fear begins to take root. Suddenly there's a sharp rap on the glass and Sarah jumps, her breath catching in her throat. She stares at the French doors, her blood turning to ice. The rapping comes again, more insistent this time, and Sarah can see the distinct outline of a figure through the gauzy curtains. Terror, raw and consuming, washes over her. She clutches her baby close, her mind racing. She knows she should call the police, but she can't seem to move, can't tear her gaze away from the shadowy figure at the door. The rapping stops, and for a moment there's only silence. A silence so profound it seems to press in on her, suffocating her. Then, slowly, deliberately, the figure begins to pull back the curtains. Sarah squeezes her eyes shut, unable to bear the sight of what awaits her on the other side of the glass. She hears a voice, low and gravelly, speaking her name, and she knows with a certainty that chills her to the bone that this is no ordinary intruder. Imagine yourself as a young boy, no older than 10, lying awake in bed. The only source of light in your room is the faint glow-in-the-dark stars you meticulously placed on your ceiling. Each star represents a dream, a hope for the future. You should be asleep, but a strange energy crackles in the air, making the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. The shadows in your room seem to deepen, to writhe and twist with a life of their own. You pull your blankets up to your chin, seeking comfort in their familiar weight, but the feeling of unease only intensifies. You tell yourself it's just your imagination, the remnants of a scary story you read before bed. But deep down, you know something isn't right. Then you hear it, a soft scratching sound coming from your closet door. It's a subtle noise, easily dismissed as the house settling or a stray branch scraping against the side of the house. But to your heightened senses, it sounds like fingernails on a chalkboard, sending shivers down your spine. You hold your breath, your heart pounding in your ears as the scratching continues, more insistent now. You squeeze your eyes shut, wishing you could disappear beneath the covers and wake up to find it was all just a bad dream. But the scratching doesn't stop. It seems to go on forever, each rasping sound a hammer blow to your already frayed nerves. Finally, unable to bear the suspense any longer, you slowly open your eyes and turn towards the source of the sound. The closet door is slightly ajar, and a sliver of inky blackness spills out into the room, swallowing the faint light from your glow-in-the-dark stars. You stare at the darkness, your breath catching in your throat as you feel a presence within the closet watching you. Though you can't see anything in the darkness, you feel the weight of its gaze, cold and calculating, stripping you bare. It's then that you realize, with a terrifying certainty, that you are not alone. Something is in your room with you, something ancient and evil, and it has been watching you all along. These encounters with the black-eyed beings leave us with more questions than answers. Are they real or just figments of our darkest fears? Are they visitors from another dimension or something far more sinister? What do you think? Have you ever had a chilling encounter with the unknown? Share your experiences in the comments below and let's explore the darkness together. Stay tuned for more tales that will keep you up at night. The truth is out there, lurking just beyond the veil of our reality, waiting to be discovered.